Seemingly. Seemingly. Let me make sure. Let me get to my channel and find the stream. Oh, I see the stream. I see the stream. Now then, let me copy the link and put it on Instagram. Happy polling day. Take that, and let me take the link, and I'm gonna paste the link, youtube.com. And let me save this. I don't know if it saves the stickers, it might not. Story uploading. Story uploaded. Great. Move that on to here. Okay, I'm going to put the link in again, just to make sure, on the second account. There we go. And add that to my story. Right. Go on, upload it. Alright, that's uploaded there. Let me move that back to here. And let me go back here to the live chat. Okay. Alright. Well, happy polling day to all who celebrate, as I do. The theme of this stream is polling day. We're going to be doing scenarios around the areas that are the most hotly contested, the ones that the media are watching, the ones that are going to be close. Well, apart from London, I don't think polling doesn't suggest that London will be close. But the other two, definitely hotly contested, things that are meant to be things that have a Tory incumbent that Labour are looking to take, and might very well take. The polling is quite close in both of them, but also, credibly, the Tories might hold both of them. And then what does that mean? What does that show the country? We'll find out. So, we're going, first of all, to the West Midlands. Probably the one that will be the closest of the three. And the one where there's the most chance of success. And also, this is the debut of a route, because I haven't shown off the cross-city line just yet on the stream, so it's time to do that. We're starting today at 4-8, so we can always pick up a second unit waiting at New Street. Yes, what was I going to say? Haven't done that before. Yes, it'll be interesting to see what the Tories do if they hold it, and whether they learn the lessons about personal branding or not. Either way, let's get into the West Midlands. Let's talk about the West Midlands. Well, once I've set up the train. Hold on, what else do I need to do? I need to cab lights, yes, but that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is headlights. Ah, there. Tail lights off, yes. Okay, we've already got headlights. Yes, we do. We're going to Bourneville. Lovely. I do think this Four Oaks Bay platform is kind of quirky. It's quirky. It's cute, you know, they've got their own little... Oh my goodness. Okay. They seem to have fixed that way of getting into photo mode. Anyway, it's nice and quirky. It's a through station, but it's also got its own branches. .08 to 154. There we go, it's closed, and now you can listen to the unique sounds in the world. I'll be quiet for that. As you can see or hear, very distinctive sounds. Next station is Sutton Coldfield, so we are going through the heart of Birmingham, which is where the mayoral election will be. So, not that anyone's here, but what can I tell you about the mayoral election? Well, I can tell you that Andy Street is a Conservative incumbent. He's someone who, until recently, well, I don't know until recently, probably still in large swathes of the population, has managed to conduct himself and paint this image that he is a very good mayor, and he is very effective. He's probably slightly helped by the fact he's of the same party as the governing party, but he's sort of seen as this moderate, this centrist. You know, he comes from business. He was the CEO of John Lewis, so he comes from enterprise. He knows how to run things. That's his kind of shtick. And probably you would have nailed him on for re-election, but the problem came last year when Rishi Sunak decided to cancel HS2. And there was a bit of a standoff at the party conference about it. Andy Street said that he was going to resign from the Conservative Party if he didn't, if they cancelled HS2. He said that was a red line. But Sunak sort of caught him out on his bluff. He called him on his bluff. He said, well, I'm cancelling it. Quit, basically. I mean, he begged him to stay in the speech. It was a very, it wasn't a very authoritative come and quit, but it was, you know, nonetheless, he did call him on his bluff. And despite making a whole bunch of noise, Andy Street did not, in fact, leave the Conservative Party, which, ironically, I think if he had done, probably would have probably would have made his re-election a bit more guaranteed, to be honest. I quite like Sutton Coldfield Station on an extra note. So where do we go from here? So he's demonstrated is that he's not got too much of a spine, and I think that did translate. And obviously the fall in poll numbers for the Conservatives was also catching up to him. About 3 weeks ago there was a poll that said he was 13 double digits behind the Labour candidate. But then Andy Street did a very shrewd thing, very good tactics, probably what I would have told him to do if the shoe were on the other foot, which was he decided to make all his campaign material about him and not the Conservatives. What he did was he took the word Conservative out of most of his branding, and then he so he removed all of it, and a lot of the quotes that are coming out of the Street campaign are of him saying, you know, this is a local election, not a national election, you know, how I vote locally. You know, he's very keen to get people to vote local and not national. Now, some might say, well, that's a bit of a sleazy thing to do. You attach yourself to a party, and that's how it goes. You know, and especially with Andy Street, you know, I do think it's a bit ironic, because the reason he didn't leave the party, presumably, is because of the wealth of resources and campaigning material available to him, which is still available to him, but obviously now he doesn't want the brand, and kind of you do have to take the good with the bad when you attach yourself to a party, I would say. But anyway, but it has clearly had an effect on his poll numbers, because the week after that bombshell poll came out, there was a poll that put him about 2% behind, and then there was a poll that put him about 2% ahead. So it's a race that's within the margin of error. It's a race that Labour's Richard Parker could win, could very credibly win, would be a massive snipe for Labour, definitely would be something that Keir Starmer would hold up as a benchmark. But of course they might lose, and Street might win, because clearly there's a lot of affection for his personal brand. Otherwise his poll numbers wouldn't have gone up in the first place. So what the Tories need to do is temper their expectations. They need to look at the race, and they need to say, if Andy Street does manage to pull it off, which is not a given, but I mean, I think I would make him the favourite still. I think I would make him the favourite, particularly with Birmingham Council being bankrupt. I would make him the favourite to win. But the Tories need to see that if he does win, and if he does, it will be close. Make no mistake about that. It will be by a margin of about 3%, maybe less. But if he pulls off victory, it will not be because he's a Tory. It will not be because the country is clamouring for more of Sunak. It will be because he has a very strong personal brand. He is a very strong mayor, like it or not, he is a very strong mayor. And that will carry him over the line, possibly. And my real problem with that is that the Tories are not ones to learn lessons. They're not ones to they're not ones of astute political analysis, shall I say. The best demonstrator of this is the Uxbridge by-election. And in the Uxbridge by-election, the Tories won by, I don't remember what the margin was, but it was very close. It was maybe 500 votes. Something like that. About 500 votes. And so, and they did that. Well, we don't even know if this is really the decisive factor. Lizzie is here, let's go. you've missed my whole spiel about Andy Street and the West Midlands mayoralty, but I'm still sort of on my political analysis. The problem is the way the Tories did that, the way the Tories think they did that, is because they managed to make it a referendum on ULEZ rather than a referendum on the national government. So then they started doing anti-green policies because they thought that was a vote winner. Now, my contention is that when you have a margin as small as 500, it could be literally anything. I'm not saying ULEZ wasn't a factor in the Uxbridge by-election. It was, of course. But also, so could a lot of other things. You know, Labour were not very strong on ULEZ. They didn't come with a consistent position. Both the candidate and the leader were talking about how they disagreed with Sadiq Khan on ULEZ, which sort of made voters a bit confused, sort of made them feel like they were lying to them, you know. It was also around the same time that Keir Starmer said he'd keep the two-child benefit limit, which people weren't happy about, and any number of those factors, when you have 500 votes, could have done anything. So if Andy Street does win the West Midlands mayoral election, then there's a danger that the Tories will look at that and go, well, we're doing all right, clearly. ULEZ stands for Ultra Low Emission Zone. What it is it's a charge on certain cars that were made before a certain date, cars that are heavily polluting. It's a tax of £12.50 to go around, to drive in the zone, which is London. The zone was originally inner London, but it was expanded to outer London, which are all the Tory boroughs, so they were upset about it. It's the second one, but instead of an A, it's an E. ULEZ. So, yes, that's a spiel about Andy Street. So OLEZ, no, not OLEZ, ULEZ, like with a U, ULEZ. ULEZ, yeah, that's the one. This is my screenshot. Lizzie Dingus. No, Lizzie, not Dingus. Lizzie, my girlfriend. Yeah, okay, so the spiel that you missed about Andy Street, this is Birmingham Cross City. That's why we're talking about Andy Street, because he's the mayor of the West Midlands and Birmingham is in that area. So, Andy Street is a Conservative mayor of the West Midlands. That comprises of Birmingham, Coventry, Wolverhampton, Dudley, Sandwell. What is West Midlands? It's an area in the UK. You know how you have how Liverpool is in the northwest, and I'm in the south. I mean, London is technically counted as its own zone, but I'm in the south, southern UK. The West Midlands is like the west part in between. Is Ben House in West Midlands? No, Ben's House is in the East Midlands. But you know, same difference. It's the bit between the north and the south, but the west part. We split the Midlands west and east, helpfully. So, Andy Street is a mayor. He's seen as this sort of moderate Conservative mayor. He was the CEO of John Lewis, so he comes from a business background. So he's sort of got this whole shtick of, well, you know, I know exactly what to do, what to say. I know exactly how to run things, basically. Oh dear. Emergency. This isn't going to end very well. Yes, and up until recently, some probably would have said he was a good mayor. You know, he's got a strong record of delivery, mostly helped by the fact he's a Conservative mayor with a Conservative government, and there's not many Conservative mayors about. Well, there's only 2 at the moment. There might still only be 2 by the end of the elections. So he's massively helped by that. But yeah, he's got a good record of delivery. Yo, James. He's got a good record of delivery. But then he had a standoff with his party over hype. He got into a standoff over HS2, said he was going to quit the party if they cancelled it, but Rishi Sunak said, Lamau, I'm going to cancel it anyway. He didn't resign, probably because he wanted the campaigning resources and activists. You hope Lord Bucketface wins. What is HS2? HS2, High Speed 2. It's a railway line that was supposed to go between London and Manchester via Birmingham. HS2 is a whole other debate. But he said that Sunak cancelled it, and he did not quit the party like he threatened to do, which I think clearly affected his polling ratings, because there was a poll that came out where he was 13% behind. So then he switched his campaign strategy to remove the word Conservative and any mention of the Conservatives, and he started bringing up things about local and national elections. And that's clearly had an effect, because he is his polling ratings have gone up, and now he's only, well, apparently he's 2% ahead now, but yeah, he's been slowly climbing, so there's still a chance he might win, and if he does, what lessons will the Tories take from that? And I'm suggesting they're not going to take the right ones. You sold your soul in the stockroom recently, and you're now soulless. You gave it to the dark gods. My guy, this isn't Joker. This is not some kind of Saturday morning cartoon for you to ruin. What's going on? Lizzie is shocked. Like, you are a dark edgelord, James. How do you feel about that? The Prince of Darkness. Well, that's what they call Peter Mandelson. Every day is a Saturday Night Live cartoon in London. Yeah, that's true. James is in the stockroom. James is in the stockroom. James, are you at the stockroom in Cotswold or Hocker? You are the Dark Prince. I don't know, gee, that sounds a bit wet, I can't lie. Sounds like some, you know what, it sounds like some Harry Potter shit, that's what it sounds like. Here you go. Pray not loudly, man. Cotswold might hear. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll be quiet. Oh, we have plenty of runoff there. Why is the marker here? That makes no bloody sense. Why is... There's not even... Okay, no, there is a 3-car stop marker here. That makes no sense. Lizzie, what's good? So, there must be a 6-car marker here. Yeah, there is. Nice. This is Gravelly Hill. Calling it Aston. Oh, let's go. Aston, Birmingham New Street, 5 Ways, University, Selly Oak, and Bourneville. I'm okay, they've got a bad case of flu. Yes, you do. Unfortunately. I hate getting sick. That's why you don't do it, innit, James? You never get sick. But it's submitted your last work for uni, so you don't accept exams. I would say nice, but I've already said nice. There's a dub. But getting sick is for wetties, I can't lie. I rate that. I'm going to be silent whilst this train takes off so you can fully appreciate how strange it sounds, because I don't know if anyone's been listening. It feels quieter than it was before. Okay. Lizzie, if you think that mentally you are not sick, you won't feel sick. Cold screenshot opportunity there. So James, have you seen the Fallout TV series? I'm speeding, that's not good. There we go. Thanks, James. I will manifest not ill. I will also do that. It might count for double. Oh, that is a nice opportunity for a screenshot. If I went into photo mode, that would have been good. Next stop, Aston. Oh my God, get Moy on the stream. This is his favourite place. His favourite team. Up the Villa. 6 points out of Arsenal. Get Moy on the stream. He needs to see this. He needs to see this glorious town slightly north of Birmingham. Oh look, there's another train waiting for us. The thing is, I don't think you can see Villa Park from here. I hate starting new series though. I know what you mean. I've been watching the same 3 on repeat for like a year now. I need Disney Plus back so I can do a bigger rewatch of How I Met Your Mother, because that's a good bingeable show that lasts forever. Cool. Oh, I should have stayed outside so you could hear the thing. Still would get emotionally attached to things these days. Are you feeling okay, man? Yeah, I don't think you can see Villa Park from here. That's a shame. Permanent TV wise. No, I know, but you know, I just want to make sure you're not making a wider point. You know what I mean? Make sure you're not using TV as a metaphor or nothing. Aston. I like this station. It looks nice. The next station is Birmingham New Street. Let's go. I dislike the southeastern line. I know you do. That's why we're not doing it today. Actually, that's not why we're not doing it today. But I feel like I do that a lot on stream anyway. So. And this is a new route, James. I should have highlighted this to you. This is one. It's not released recently, but it's a new one to stream. I haven't debuted this on the live stream before. But yeah, Train Sim has released 3 banger routes recently, which I cannot afford, but eventually all 3 of them will come. Eventually. Man's unleashing secret Foscast and nukes. Indeed, it's just another weapon in my arsenal, you know what I'm saying? Cross city line coming out. Well, not coming out, it's already out, it's here. I think I might have cursed Aston Villa because apparently they are getting smashed by Olympiacos. So that's fun for them. Oh, the nuke you left in my bathroom a year ago. It was more than a year ago, mate. Oh, I accidentally put on the emergency brake, for goodness sake. Also, what station is this? Duddeston. Oh, if emergency brakes. I didn't mean to do that. What weapon in arsenal? The root. The root is but an arrow in my quiver. That sounded cringe. Man didn't even open the windows either. Listen, do you really think an open window would have helped that situation? I don't think so. I think the fact is, you know, it's a bit like Thanos, you know, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Nothing you can do to stop it. It is what it is. It's not nice, it's not pretty, Lord knows it's not glamorous. So you tried to assassinate me and Nicola. Hey, Finn and Wilson were there too. With a bio nuke. Listen, like I said, the windows wouldn't have helped that situation, okay? Nothing would have helped that situation. Might as well just, you know, take it on the chin and move on, innit? Nuclear shit, bruh. We're coming into New Street, Birmingham New Street. Which way is it? This is where HS2 is being constructed. Yeah, see, this is where the HS2 terminus is. Talking about HS2 earlier. Knew it would come in handy. At least it was in the bathroom. See, I don't like you saying that, because that just implies that when I come to yours I don't shit in the bathroom. And that is just demonstrably untrue. Well, not demonstrably. Not demonstrably, that's the problem. But, you know. Well, maybe instead you fart. Well, that's probably better for them, because I'm the only one that then has to deal with it. Jimmy Devers, a missile rip in the garden. No, but you're giving me ideas, James. You're giving me ideas. Give me ideas. Why not? Ideas? Yeah, I mean, you know, why not? I mean, you don't use your garden, Lizzie, do you? Not that much. And plus, I mean, James's front garden is just a bit of concrete. If I put it out there, he might step in it on his way to work. Yeah, and you were talking about mailing me a chicken, James. So maybe I'll mail you a little something. The world is my oyster now. Okay, what's the point of this? No, that's not on a line. I swear it said we're meant to couple here. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it said. To be fair, here we go. If it makes you feel better, oh no. Here we go. We're at Birmingham New Street. I take absolute massive dump trucks now that I have a fibre heavy diet. Probably blocks up the River Thames sewer system. Not probably. It definitely does. Oh, this might be a cold. Some poor sod has to go down there and clear that shit. Yeah, they do. Oh. That was a quick stop. Oh, there is a unit to couple to up there. We at least couple with the unit and change cabs. They do like throwing in a little gimmick there, don't they? Also have to say, Jerry, how's life? Is decent, man. Just trundling along till exams. They start next week. So just chilling until then. Well, not chilling, obviously. I'm obviously revising. But compared to dissertation work, that's relatively chill. Who's the other end of the unit? Let me be courteous and put that up. Yeah, so that happened. It's polling day, so that's, you know, that's like my favourite day of the year. The fact it's coming around twice this year, probably, is amazing. Chef's kiss. Polling day, what an operation. Hopefully for the general election I'll actually be at home for it and mobilising. That would be great. Too many quiet polling days since I came to uni, man. Nothing will beat the last general election. Well, maybe the next one will be actually win, but I mean, nothing will beat the feeling of the last one where I was running about the whole time trying to help my friend win an election. That's pretty dope. So yes, I'm in a good mood today. I'm excited to see the results. People don't start counting till tomorrow though, so no need to stay up too long, because I'm not going to really get any results till tomorrow. I'm excited about races like the West Midlands, really, because they'll be close and we don't know who's going to win. I haven't got a clue, but my money's on Andy Street retaining this, but anything could happen. But yeah, no, how's life for you, man? Seemed like you're busy in the stock room. Work keeping you on your toes? the silence is deafening as James realises that I've said a lot more than I wanted to. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing lots of revising on Hocker trainers. Oh, nice, nice. Can you actually walk up this way? I like the compartments of each trainer. Oh, that's pretty good, man. Getting quite niche into how they're made. Oh, damn. That's pretty cool. Also been training for a half marathon. Oh, yeah, I think you said on call. That's sick, man. How's that going? Nothing too exciting. I know what you mean. I'm still waiting to hear back about my internship, and it's kind of annoying because I want to know whether I'm staying up here for like between now and graduation or not, really, because I want to book tickets to my college summer ball if not, but sorry if I am, but yeah. It's funny white drama between John the Creep and other colleagues. John the Creep, is that a colleague or is that the dude in the wheelchair? The one who I think we spoke about the last time I was on the stream, funnily enough. Good man, doing about 36k a week at the moment. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. Actually, did he come in? Oh, he's a colleague. Fair. No, the wheelchair guy is called... Actually, I think they're coming that way, the trains. Anyway, wheelchair guy is called Pump Man. That sounds like a shit superhero. That's what it sounds like. A really shit superhero. Oh shit, I didn't turn the cab lights on. No, there we go. Nice. Are these lights on? These lights are not on. There we go. Alright, we're good now. Probably trust me, he ain't no hero. No, I imagine. Not with the kind of things we heard from you, no. Of course not. Yeah, no. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Nothing too much. Tomorrow we're going to set up a big fuck off TV in the SU. We've booked a room. And we're going to sit there and watch the Tories take a massive L. Whilst we revise. Moy and I and hopefully some other people. That's my plan tomorrow. It's going to be glorious. Well, I hope. You know, you never quite know these things, but if it goes the way everyone thinks it's going to go, then it'll be good fun. It'll be very good fun. There we go, 2 yards. Perfect stop. It's quite a nice station. This reminds me of Dulwich, actually. Okay, well there's a definitely not modelled enough canal. Nice. I do need to go back to Birmingham at some point. I do want to. There's apart from like New Street down to Kings Norton. That's the bit I love about this route. So, this bit. Kind of the whole run. And Kings Norton is a nice area. I'm back with food. Yay! What food? What is my favourite place in Birmingham? Well, I'd love to say the BBC building, but it's been closed twice. No, not closed. I didn't get to go the first time. And then it was closed the second time. So, leftover chicken hut from last night. Oh, nice. My favourite place, in terms of things to do, the Chocolate Museum in Bourneville is a banger. In terms of, like, if I was going to live there, the area around Kings Norton seems quite cool. Because, I don't know, there was a Toby Carvery there, I went with Bree, and it just seems like a nice area, Kings Norton. But I'm going to assume with stream delay you were talking about the BBC building, and I don't know it's my favourite. I'm just making a joke about how Birmingham has screwed me over twice. Not twice. The first time I went for my 11th birthday in 2014. What is there to do in BBC building? I don't know, that's why I want to go. No, I do know, sort of. I mean, it's the BBC, you know, like the media. So, and you can get a tour of it, so that, you know, you can see around like studios and shit like that, which seems pretty cool to me. I do like this canal, it's quite nice. But yeah, the first time in 2014 we just didn't get enough time to go around it. You know, we were there for a couple of days and we just didn't get the time. And then when I went back with Bree on the final day we'd meant to go, and then it didn't. Is BBC a Virgin Media competitor? No, not really, because Virgin Media, they're like Sky in terms of they provide the TV services. Although, to be honest, Virgin are more of a internet people now, really. I mean, even their TV, I think, comes from Sky. No, the BBC are more competing with people like ITV, Channel 4, even Netflix to some degree. Netflix, Disney Plus and streaming. Depends on what aspects of the BBC. Am I Virgin Media? No. You know this. Morning news. Yeah, I mean, in the news world, they're competing with Channel 4 and ITV. Anyway, this is the other place coming up. No, sorry. This is not the other place coming up. Although it was nice when I visited university. Holly Willoughby. I think she's on ITV, I think. Why is Virgin law with trains? Because Virgin used to have a train company. They used to run the West Coast Main Line. Ironically, to Birmingham. And to Liverpool. And up to Scotland. But they had the franchise stripped in 2019 for Avanti in what was probably one of the worst decisions anyone has ever made. Scotland. Yes. Avanti does go to Scotland, and so did Virgin. I planted some flowers. Let's go. I say Scotland, I mean mainly Glasgow. There were some services to Edinburgh. Have I ever been on a Virgin train? I did. As a child, I was on Virgin trains. They don't exist now, though. In fact, they had the franchise stripped, I think, in the wake of Virgin Trains East Coast failing miserably and becoming LNER, which I think was slightly unfair. I don't know. I think Virgin probably just overextended themselves, and that's probably why it failed. But, you know, it is what it is. Stagecoach is the one who I think got a raw deal out of it because they were stripped of... Oh, I got a silver trophy. BCC Brum. Nice. Stagecoach are the ones who got a raw deal out of it, really, because they had basically every franchise stripped at the end of Virgin Trains East Coast, because they were like minority shareholders in that. It was 51-49 Virgin Stagecoach, and Stagecoach ended up losing... They lost Southwest Trains to SWR, which I think is a downgrade, and they lost East Midlands Trains to EMR, which I don't know enough about EMR really to know whether that's a downgrade or not. Does Stagecoach do anything other than buses? I can't think of a single Stagecoach train franchise, no. So, at the moment all I can think of is buses, yeah. I think it's a shame they were stripped of this. Well, they weren't stripped, they got outbid, really, for the Southwest Trains franchise, but the problem is, I don't know, my problem is the government just looks at who bids the highest rather than who's going to be the best at running it. Although that being said, if it were up to me, we'd nationalise the whole thing, and you know, then this whole franchising thing wouldn't be necessary. But if we were going to franchise, I don't think I'd have taken the Southwest Trains away from Stagecoach, because they had a very good record at doing up old trains and basically squeezing as much life out of them as they could. I mean, the Class 455s should have died probably years before they were withdrawn. I mean, they're not even completely withdrawn now, I don't think, although they are starting to withdraw them. But, you know, Stagecoach did a really good job of refurbishing them and keeping them alive, really. So, I think that was a shame. East Midlands Trains, I wasn't on enough to know how well Stagecoach did that, but I think they had a fairly good reputation there too. But Virgin Trains East Coast failed so horrifically, I think the government were a bit cautious about giving them another franchise, or, you know, letting them keep being franchise runners. What is my favourite train line? I'm going to say Thameslink. Well, they're my favourite operator. I don't know what my favourite line is, in terms of, like, to see or do. I don't know, I mean, I tend to come back to Southeastern on Train Sim a lot, because it's close to home, and especially when I miss home. Avanti West Coast too. Yeah, Avanti West Coast is alright. Well, they're alright when they run, and that's not often, to be fair. No, Avanti have been horrific at actually running. In terms of aesthetic, they're quite nice. And the trains are decent, although they did just inherit them from Virgin. Thameslink, I don't know, Thameslink I have a love-hate relationship for. I say I love it. Also, this is where the Chocolate Museum is. I'm going to interlude this discussion to show you, where is it? It's like that thing there with the chimney. That's the Chocolate Museum. You get a lot of chocolates. Thameslink was nice. Yeah, with Thameslink, it's just... they're not great at running things gotten better since they were nationalised, I'd say, but, you know, they're not great at running things, but, they, I don't know, I've just spent so long on the Class 700s taking the piss out of them that there's not, like, it's nostalgia. Walk to the marker when you're ready to leave, bloody hell. I don't know, there's just not many places I'd rather be, train-wise. LNER, actually. And you gotta go. Alright, James. I'll speak to you soon, man. We'll do Discord soon. How's Stick Stream, bro? Yeah, cheers, man. Gold medal for that. Okay. Next scenario. Actually, in terms of favourite, I'm going to say LNER. LNER has actually got to be one of the best run operators in the country, I think. I have had problems with it, but when I compare them to the problems that other TOCs have, it's nothing. Okay, Seaside. Hopefully we'll see you when I come for Jess's birthday, because it would be sick. It would be sick. Do the trains, choose a route. Tees Valley Line. I get to do another spiel about a mayoral election. Do love a little spiel about a mayoral election. Of course, it takes me remembering how to drive one of these trains because it has gears, which is difficult, but... Seaside Summer Special! We're at Darlington! One down from Durham. Welcome to Darlington Station. A summer holiday special service has been added to the timetable to bring tourists to Saltburn. Climb aboard the DMU and get it set up. Which DMU? This DMU. I do feel like I've done this one before, but... yeah, anyway. Saltburn, not that Saltburn. Apparently Saltburn's not set in Saltburn, which I agree is stupid, but... no, not window open. Window closed. Right. We'll sit here. I'm not looking at here. Okay, turn the circuit key to on. What is Darlington route political T? I will get to that in just a minute. Hold the engine start button. Throttle line, the reversal to forward. Handbrake to no. Handbrake to release. Gear selector to 1. Driver's brake to release. Do we want to open the doors here? Yes, no. We should set the destination. Halifax, Harrogate, Hull, Hartlepool, Macclesfield, Saltburn. Oh. Train broken. Not broken, we're just waiting. Oh. Reach at least. Okay, we're going on our own. Stop at location east of our down line. Okay, this is the Tees Valley Line, and the mayoral election that this covers is the Tees Valley mayoral election. So here we have a Conservative incumbent. His name is Ben Houchin. He's now a Lord. He's been made a Lord. since the last election. And it's a really interesting battle, really. In 2021, he won a lord. Yes, he's been made a lord. How to become a lord? The government chooses to put you in the House of Lords. As basically. Basically what they do. I don't realise that. Lewis Hamilton also a lord? No, Lewis Hamilton is a sir. He's a knight. He's knighted. He's got a knighthood. Slightly different things because the monarch chooses, although not really, but they can. They're more apolitical. I mean, the lords are meant to be less political, but they're not in practice, really. Once clear, reverse back into Darlington to couple up to the other at DME on platform 2. Knight bigger than Lord? No, Lord bigger than Knight. Lord gets 2. The Lords, they sit in the House of Lords, so they get to vote on legislation. They get to vote on like laws being passed and stuff. What's going on? Why are you not reversing? That's my Tory Lord? Yes. There are Labour Lords too. That's why it's not working. Gear selector 1. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, Ben Halchin is now a member of is there Reform Lords? No. Reform's quite new. So. But then even when UKIP were in their heyday, I think there was only one UKIP Lord. But no Reform Lords. There are Lib Dem Lords. That most Lords... okay, not most Lords, but there are some Lords who are what they call crossbenchers, who are basically independents, and instead of sitting with a party, they sit in between them. What if Alfie Reform Lord, because he accidentally voted them? No, Alfie is not a Reform Lord. I'm sure of that. Anyway, right, back to the law. So, Ben Halchin, Mayor of the Tees Valley. Tees Valley covers Darlington, Stockton, Middlesbrough, Redcar, Cleveland. I think that's it. Yeah. I think those are all the council areas. Anyway, so he 3 years ago won the election by 76% to 23, which was interesting given that Teesside is somewhat of a Labour area, albeit. Couple to formation, how I do that. There we go. Now we unlock the doors. Nice. So, he won by that margin. It's a very big margin. Forward and gear selector. won. It was a very large margin, which is very interesting given that it's meant to be a semi-Labour area. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a massively Labour area, but they're traditional Labour. That's what they are. They're historically Labour areas. And so, on the one hand, you go, it was always an uphill battle for Labour to win, but Lord Houchin has got himself into some controversy over the Teesside Freeport. Now, a Freeport is a... Oh, stop in the Middlesbrough next. A free port is a port where you don't have to pay import tariffs or taxes on raw goods. So you still pay taxes on the final products, but when you're making something like and Teesside is a very industrial area, so if you're making, I don't know, aeroplanes or cars or anything involving a scrap of metal, really, you don't pay any taxes. But there has been accusations of asset stripping, of selling things on the cheap to your mates, and basically the whole thing reeks of corruption. There was as well an issue where I think it was Middlesbrough Council, they voted not to implement it, but they only voted not to implement it because there were enough Conservative councillors who were the majority. It might not have been Middlesbrough Council, but there was a council in Teesside, where it might have been Stockton even, where they said they didn't want it, but that was only because there were Conservative councillors that weren't present at the meeting for whatever reason. So, after the meeting, when they voted not to do it, then they sent a letter saying that, well, if we were at the meeting, we would have voted for it, so you should go ahead. Anyway, so despite the council voting against it, Ben Houchin wrote to Michael Gove, who was I think he was the Minister for Levelling Up at the time, and said, I say we crack on with this Teesside Freeport anyway, and so they did, without an official vote from the council to do so. So the whole thing reeks. The whole thing, well, the media certainly seems to think that the whole thing reeks. So, Ben Houchin is facing re-election. One good thing he has done, or at least people think it's good, is that he was trying to cook, but it burnt. But the one thing he has done is he's managed to reopen Teesside Airport, which we're actually going to pass on this train. Teesside Airport, which had been closed, and Labour were going to keep it closed and build stuff on it. Well, that's what they're claiming. So Ben Houchin is facing a lot of corruption allegations, but he's also seemingly a relatively popular mayor. Someone who's also doing things, but he's very much the opposite of Andy Street, in that Andy Street is seen as this cooperative, bipartisan guy who works with anyone. He's a centrist, he's a moderate. Ben Houchin's not like that. Ben Houchin is very much, he's very much right wing, he's very much a conservative, and he's very much, I'm going to do things in my way. So, two very different types of Tory up there. Now, polling originally suggested that Labour were neck and neck with him. Now polling suggests that he's ahead by about 5%, maybe maybe slightly more than that. So yes, and then now there's been some allegations from Sky News that Labour, having seen the recent polling, are taking out resources from Teesside and redirecting them to the West Midlands, where the gap is only about 2%. And it's within the margin of error. Ben Houchen seems to be outside of the margin of error, despite the fact that it's close. And the fact is, the real question is, do Labour actually need to win Tees Valley for it to be a good night? Because if Labour can get anywhere close, if Labour can get within 10%, that's a high enough swing that they would probably capture every constituency in Teesside at the general election. Certainly if that swing were replicated at a general election. And given that Houchen won by such a margin, he won by 50%, 70, what was it, 23 to like 74 or 71 or something like that. It's a stonking margin. So is it an embarrassment for Ben Houchen to even be in a race? Lord knows. And if Labour win, that's obviously a massive coup, but do Labour even necessarily have to win? I don't know. I do think it's silly for them to be pulling resources, but I don't know if that's necessarily true, that they are pulling out resources. They are going to not do them. I don't know. We'll find out. 5%, is that a big margin? 5% is close. 5% is close. But 5% is outside of the margin of error. So if you see someone leading by 5 and you think that's not going to change, is this Teesside Airport? Let me have a look quickly. And you think that's not going to change? No, it's not. And you think that's not going to change so close to an election, and then you have a mayoral election where you're within the margin of error, polls are swinging, but they're going up and down about who's going to win, whether it's you or Andy Street. I can see why they would do. I don't believe they have pulled resources, for what it's worth, but I can see why they might do. I don't think they would have done though. So, will Ben Houchen be re-elected? Well, polls suggest that he's got a stronger chance of doing that than Andy Street does, which is a shame given that Andy Street doesn't have any corruption allegations levelled at him, but we'll see. I think the other race to consider that's going on just south of Teesside is York and North Yorkshire, and this isn't being talked about enough because, yes, York is not a Tory city. It barely has a Tory councillor. In fact, they might even have got rid of all the Tory councillors, the like 2 that there were. But York being lumped in with North Yorkshire suggested to me that it was a big gerrymander. York and North Yorkshire being put together, that, North Yorkshire, that's where Rishi Sunak's seat is, and it's full of rural villages like Northallerton, Richmond, you got Scarborough in there, so even though York as a city isn't, pairing it with North Yorkshire, to me, felt like a big gerrymander. But polling has Labour ahead by double digits, and I think if they did win York and North Yorkshire, I don't know, I think that's a big deal. I think that's a very big deal, if that's what comes to pass. I think, and no one's talking about that enough either. What is gerrymandem? I don't know. Oh, you mean gerrymandering? Gerrymandering is when you draw political maps in a way that is favourable to to a particular political party. So, is this Teesside Airport, by the way? Let's find out. Sorry, I'm just obsessed with trying to show off Teesside Airport. So, an example is, what is this? This is Teesside Airport. This is Teesside Airport Station. This is the airport that Ben Halchin has reopened. It's a request stop. It still is a request stop in real life. But yes. Teesside Airport. So, yes, so for example, what happens is, it happens a lot in America. It's mostly an American term. In America, things are so partisan there that parties do it, and it's just seen as whatever. Best example I think I have of gerrymandering in America is North Carolina. North Carolina is a state that votes roughly 50-50. You know, well, okay, normally like 53-47 Democrat Republican, but the Democrats frequently only have 2 seats from North Carolina out of, I think it's 13. So, and the way they do that is they draw the maps in a way that packs all the Democrat voters into those 2 seats and ensures that the other Democrat voters are outnumbered by Republicans across the rest of them. And I sort of feel the same thing in that York, I feel, doesn't have, you know, a lot in common with North Yorkshire. As a cultural entity, I think, you know, they're you know, North Yorkshire is quite rural. York is obviously a city. I think they have quite different needs, probably, and probably are not best served by a single mayor. By that I mean York is not a Tory city. North Yorkshire is a Tory place. So if you have a Tory mayor, it feels like they've tacked on North Yorkshire to York just so that York as a city can be run by a Tory mayor. So the fact that in North Yorkshire, which again is where Rishi Sunak's constituency is, it's quite the feat, I feel, if that ends up coming off. And it's not one that anyone in the media is talking about. Train making omega noises. It is, because it's an old DMU, unfortunately. And somehow I'm keeping on top of it. I do find it difficult to drive these ones, but not today. Yes, but anyway, Tees Valley and the West Midlands, they're both they're the only 2 Tory mayors in the country at the moment. So, again, the Tories might hold on to both of them. They do at least look set to hold on to Teesside. What's this? Allen's West. They do, at the very least, seem like they will hold on to Teesside. Not that that's in any way a guarantee, but they might. And again, will the Tories learn the right lessons? I suspect not. But it would be quite, I do have to say, on current polling, it would be quite the feat if we still have 2 Tory mayors. You also have Ben Bradley running in the East Midlands. He looks pretty set to lose, which is also quite interesting. But he is someone, you know, I think in a normal year, Tories would probably expect to have 3 Metro mayors. 4, probably, with York and North Yorkshire. Probably 4. I mean, in a really good year, they'd take London, but we'll get to London. Not here, but we'll get to London. So, It's going to be interesting. Is it going to be more interesting than the West Midlands? I mean, again, polls suggest that it's going to be... This is the Eagles Cliff, right? Yes. I mean, polls suggest that it will be a tougher endeavour to take Teesside. Driving away my heart because I love you. Or, no, but I wouldn't drive away from you. I'd drive towards you because I love you. Yeah. Teesside, a difficult endeavour. Not impossible, never say never for Labour. A question of resources. And I mean, I don't see why the party wouldn't have two. Now, of course, their big problem is what to do about the North East. Drawing inside my heart. Aww. I love you. It's also about the North East, because Labour are going to sweep the vast majority of the mayoral elections. They're going to... Liverpool and Manchester, easy. West Yorkshire, South Yorkshire, they've already got incumbents. I was saying West Yorkshire, South Yorkshire. Where else? Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, but we've already... That's not even up. Little Willie, Liverpool, Steve Rotherham. Yes, it is Steve Rotherham. They've got those. They'll probably take London. They're probably got that. So when you think about it, you know, they're defending all these seats that they're probably going to win. And what? They're going on the attack in the West Midlands, Tees Valley. They're going on the attack in East Midlands. But also they sort of need to go on the attack in the North East, because they have Jamie Driscoll, the independent. He's probably the most likely to give Labour a run for its money. And normally, it's a race that Labour would win. And it's a race that Labour would normally win comfortably. Comfortably. But, because they have a strong independent there, they are having to go on the attack, which is maybe why they're diverting resources out of the Tees Valley, because they think they can win. But I don't know that they're doing... I don't know that they're directing resources out, but yeah. Jamie Driscoll, North East man. He is the North East man. So it's interesting, and of course, if there were a proper North East DLC, I definitely would have done that over London. And I mean, I was going to do the East Midlands originally, but I think West Midlands and Tees Valley are probably the two most interesting elections coming up. London, I don't think is so interesting, but I live there, so I actually have a lot to say about it. And I know it. And I don't know, it's just London. Everyone's going to watch it, despite the fact that we all know what's going to happen. But people, you know, it's the nation's capital, so people are going to watch what happens there, nonetheless. But yeah, Tees Valley, I think Houchin holds on. But then, I don't know. See, it's difficult because I'm predicting Street to hold on, but I think Labour gains at least one. And Labour are more likely to gain the West Midlands. I don't know. What I do know is both of them, Houchin and Street, have trawled out Boris Johnson for endorsements. And actually... what's her name? Jade Marsden from Liverpool has actually managed to trundle out Boris Johnson, which is very interesting given that it's very much not going to help her chances, so I don't see why it would help her chances. Certainly can't hurt her chances, I guess that's the calculation. Trundle out Boris. Yeah, they've brought Boris Johnson out from retirement to come endorse them. He's making videos for them, telling people to go out and vote for them, because they know that an endorsement from Sunak is more likely to be an electoral kiss of death than anything. Ooh, what station is this? Oh, Thornaby. Nice. YouTuber Boris. Yeah, I mean they've he's yeah put videos on Twitter supporting him, particularly Houchin. I haven't actually seen a video with Street, but I know that he does. I know that he did endorse Street. Get an endorsement from Liz Truss. Probably the only thing worse than an endorsement from Sunak. Although that being said, the Tory party are now polling worse than they did under Liz Truss. There's a poll that came out, and they said that it's the lowest percentage ever recorded. I mean, ever recorded for the Tories ever, but lower than what was recorded under Liz Truss. They're only 3% above Reform. The Tories, in that poll, it was like Labour 44, Tory 18, Reform 15, so only 3 points between them. Which is crazy. It's going to be really... We're going to be in a really strange situation if Reform comes second and don't win any seats. Or don't win many seats. I can think of one they win. They'll probably win Ashfield, Lee Anderson's seat, because he defected to Reform and he's a popular name. So I can imagine that. I don't know about anywhere else. I don't know. I need to change the gears. Dang, is Reform that popular? Apparently so. They're also polling third in the North East mayoral election, apparently. A distant third, but above the Tories. I thought it was low. Well, to be fair, 15% is low, although it's quite high for a small party like Reform. I mean, it would be quite high for the Lib Dems to be on 15 as well. You know, let alone Reform. But it's quite it's quite big, and obviously it matters in terms of power, because I mean, I don't think Reform could translate a second place, or at least a second place that wasn't monumental, over the Tories, which if they come second place is probably only going to be a couple of percentage points above the Tories. I don't think they could ever translate that. But I thought controversial nature would make it low, like not above green at least. Yeah, well, unfortunately not. I mean, UKIP came third in 2015, and Reform is just UKIP, really. It's all the same people, just a different name. So, and they were quite popular. Well, I say popular, I mean relatively popular. Like I said, they came third. You know, unfortunately, there are a lot of conservative people in this country, a lot of right-wing people in this country, and a lot of people whose main concern is immigration. And I don't know why. It's not my primary concern, but for some reason it is the country's. So, unfortunately, it does happen. But that is a big bro moment. It is a big bro moment indeed. But also strange. It's going to be very interesting if they come second place on votes and don't come second place on seats. That'll be especially mad if they're not even close to that. It'd be mad if they don't translate at all. UKIP came third in vote share in 2015 and only won one seat. But if Reform are the second most picked choice in the country and they get 0 seats, I'm very worried about what that's going to do. And even if it is low, even, you know, say Reform do translate a second place finish to second place in the chamber, or even if they manage to promote third place, it's all power, and it still matters. It's still worth it, because when you're the official opposition, so second place, the leader of the opposition is guaranteed. The leader of the opposition is guaranteed 6 questions at PMQs. But when you're the third place, you get guaranteed 2 questions at PMQs every week, right? So even if you're not coming first, it's still a big deal for reform to get that, even if they're not going to reform government. So you might think, oh, well, okay, they come second place and they don't get a seat, you know, who cares? But that's a chance for them to set the agenda, you know, PMQs. You know, they get to put their sound bites on, they get to have the airtime, they get to ensure that what they want is in the conversation every time. You know, so if a party comes second, then they want the 6 questions, because that is very influential. And also it's very influential because if you're the opposition, then you're the one that voters think could take over. You're the first one voters look to take over, not the only one, but you're the first one that they look to turn to change things. You know, the first alternative. Anyway, this is Middlesbrough. This train is for Saltburn. Polls close in 27 minutes. If there's anyone on the stream who hasn't voted, go and do it. I think it's only you, Lizzie, so no one. But if anyone is on the stream that hasn't voted, go and do it. Polls close at 10, but if you're in line at 10 and haven't voted, you will still be entitled to do it. So please do it. That would be quite nice if you could go out and do your democratic duty. Saltburn, well, we only stopped at 2 stops. Democratic duty. I spoke to someone from my old school today who said they were not interested, and it infuriated me no end, because they said they wouldn't do it. So then I said to them, you should reconsider, because young people have such low participation rates, and that's why politicians don't listen to us. You know, you look at pensioners, you look at why pensioners have the triple lock. They have the triple lock because they're going to come out and vote. So the politicians fucking listen to them because they know for a fact they can sway them by, you know, not pissing them off. So I said that, and she said, yeah, I'm not interested. So then I said, okay, why aren't you interested? And the answer was, she's not interested in politics and she doesn't watch the news. Well, the fact is, if you don't do politics, politics will do you. And this person works in the care industry. This person works in the care industry, which is the one that is the most likely to be affected by politics. It's the one that's most directly linked to politics. I mean, you know, you look at business and you know, there's at least some distance. You know, not everything is affected by it, but care, you know, working with kids as well. I didn't get it, and it was infuriating. And I didn't bring up the fact that she could have spoiled the ballot, and I probably should have done, but even then I don't think they were going to be bothered to vote. And I just read it, and I thought, this generation is cooked, man. Like, how can you care? How can you sit there and say you care about things like Gaza and the cost of living and the job market and everything like that, and then not vote. And I get it, but I'm not saying voting is like a magic bullet. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying voting is gonna, you know... What the hell? The hell is this called? Wait, let me just see it here. Cargo fleet. That doesn't seem like a good name for a station. But anyway, you know, I'm not saying voting's a silver bullet. Yeah, it's not going to fix all your problems. It might not even fix most of your problems. Heck, it might not fix any of them. It might not, but you have a chance to affect the way things are, to try and change how things are, even if that doesn't come off. You have the chance to do that. You know, you have the chance to do that, and if you're not going to engage, well, I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, you don't have the right to complain about anything in this country. You're not going to come out and vote. And when I say vote, you don't have to put a cross by a candidate. It's perfectly valid to draw a cock on the ballot paper, right? If you don't like any of the candidates, that is more valid. That is more. You are fulfilling your democratic duty more by doing that than by not showing up. I don't respect it. I don't have any respect for people that don't turn out, unless there's like a health reason behind it. You know, like an emergency, like on the day. But I don't know, man. Like I said, not a silver bullet, but South Bank. Oh, we do go past Red Car. Nice. You know, so it's you know, it's not going to change things. Well, it might change things, but you know, I'm not saying it's going to fix everything, but to just not be interested at all. Oh, this is Red Car British Steel. This is also... No, it's not. It's not. This is South Bank. My bad. The next one is Red Car British Steel, which is also a request stop. Red Car. So yes, that was a frustrating conversation. If it's a request stop, do I bang on the driver and be like, yo, please? I wish. How to request stop. So normally, when something's a request stop, a guard will come along. Normally after each station the train stops at for any new passengers, and they will ask. They'll just shout down the same way they do with tickets. They'll shout down the carriage and they'll say, any request stops? Is this Red Car British Steel? No, this is Grangetown. The one after. Yes, so they'll do that, and then they'll say, any request stops? And then you tell them. Or you can be proactive and find the guard first. If you're on the platform, though, you do just put your hand out like a normal bus. You're my request stop. Oh, I request to stop at you. I request to stop at your house. There you are. Your place. Yeah, no. When you're an actual passenger, when you're on the platform, you do just stick your hand out like a bus. Waving the train down. No, literally. That's how they do it. No, but the thing is with Red Car British Steel, it's not just a request stop. It's not a private station, but you're not allowed to leave unless... What if they pass you? Well, then you've just taken an L, haven't you? But you're not allowed to leave unless you work for British Steel. I think that's it. Because it's the same with this... There's a station called Limpstone Commando, which you can get off at, but there's a sign in all red letters, and it's like, don't leave the station unless you have any business with the camp. And if you do leave the station and you're not army personnel, then some army guys are going to come up to you and be like, what the fuck are you doing here? So Limpstone Commando. Yep, spelled almost the same but with a Y instead of an I. But yeah, and I think Red Car British Steel is the same. You have to be a British Steel worker to alight there. Obviously they can't stop you like being on the platform, but if you're trying to see, so people just go to station for sightseeing. Yeah, I mean mostly unless you are an army worker or a British Steel worker, you're not really going to get off there. But if you're a train spotter, you know, other than that lot, it's just train spotting. Here we go, Redcar British Steel coming up. That must mean we passed Redcar Central, which is there are transparent trains. So here we go, Redcar British Steel, because it's right next to like the British Steel factories, so that's why. So Redcar Central must be the next one. Yes. Oh, there's a Redcar East. I didn't know that. It's supposed to be at Saltburn at 11:10. Did we make that time? Let's try to the next train station. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, you've missed the apex. $5 miles to do. 5 miles in 5 minutes. That's probably possible, actually. A mile a minute. That's doable. Saltburn. Okay, so the next one is Redcar Central. Yes. I didn't know they turned the names like that. Like what? They're really moving up and down. Yeah. Oh. This feels wrong. Speeding through a thing like that. Oh. I'm speeding because I flipped the nameplate. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You mean on the front of the train? Yes. I get you. Hello. About to come up to Redcar East? Yeah, that's Redcar East. Redcar is going to be a battleground at the next elections, currently held by a Tory MP who won the seat in 2019 called Jacob Young, and it's being contested by the old MP who he won it off of, Anna Turley. She's she lost the seat, but she's standing again. So that'll be interesting. 3.2 miles to do in 3 minutes. Hopefully doable. Red Cub Battleground, yeah. Longback Mask and Saltman. I've somehow managed to drive this almost all the way. Well, let's hope I didn't just jinx it then, but no, I mean, probably because there's not too many stops, it's not too difficult to do. I do find the gear changes difficult on this, though, on this unit. That's why I don't drive Tees Valley very much. Or indeed any old DLC that uses them. I mean, not many, I don't have many of the ones that do, but yes. 2 minutes to do 2.5 miles. Okay, we'll probably be a bit late. No, potentially less than a minute though. This is Longback. Shame they didn't do the whole line all the way to Bishop Auckland. That would have been good. You'd have this and then up to Bishop. But it is what it is. Train traffic lights. Signals. There's Mask. Oh, I forgot about the window. There we go, nice. Okay. Well, if this was a mainline train in today's era, I think this is the moment where we'd start saying we will shortly be arriving at Saltburn, where this train terminates. Please make sure you have all your baggage and personal belongings with you when leaving the train. We thank you for travelling with, well, in this day and age it'd be a Northern service, so we thank you for travelling with Northern. All change, please. Did it have Virgin Train in Train Sim? Not this console version, but they did have it in Train Sim Classic. They had to withdraw it shortly after the franchise changed, but they did a fire sale when the franchise changed. When they had to withdraw it, they went, "We're putting all this on discount because it's got to go because it's got all the Virgin licensing," and so I bought them on discount. So on the PC version, the Train Sim Classic, not Train Sim World, this is Train Sim World, but on Train Sim Classic I think I got both Voyager and a Pendolino, and then all the routes that came with them that were Virgin related, which is mostly stuff around North Wales. Jemmy bought it. Yes, Jemmy did buy it. We're coming in to Saltburn. Not the same Saltburn, but I still like the line. So like in the line where Jacob Elordi goes, "Why don't you come with me? Come to Saltburn." I don't know the way he says it, I just like it. Nothing else. Yes, one of them actually stops at Colwyn Bay, and then of course the fuckers re-released it as an Avanti thing, but which still had to pay for. Which I didn't pay for. I think I managed to get that on discount as well. Well, I can't remember if it was discount or if it came with the game at some point. I'm not too sure. No, come on. No, don't dial me here. Come on. We're so nearly there. I can see it. We're yards away. I don't know where that line goes. I must find out in real life. Saltburn. You know, Saltburn, this place I should try and go before I leave Durham. It's by the seaside. Lovely. Single track approach. Probably a bit different now, actually. Okay, we're going up. We're trundling. We're trundling in. I mean, that's a nice approach. There we go. We're coming at 10. It's a classic seaside town. Coming into Saltburn. We stopped in Middlesbrough to let people in. To be fair, it might be quite nice. Quite a nice screenshot opportunity. There we go. Oh, stop, please. There we go. End of the line. It is indeed the end of the line. I don't know why I'm doing this and not doing it in photo mode. Given that photo mode would probably be a lot better at it. What's going on here? That's quite nice. I like that. I'm gonna take that. And then I'm gonna play around with saturation. Yeah, I do love a bit of saturation. I do. Vignette. Ooh. No. That's quite nice though. I'll take that as a screenshot. I'll take that as a screenshot. Right, yep. Saltburn. Yeah, I've stopped at Saltburn. What the hell? Delete banging train sim photos. I do indeed have banging train sim photos. Sorry, right. You need to reverse. And then you go to 1. There we go. I think this is why I didn't finish it last time, because it doesn't count the stop. Great! I'm going to save it, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to, and I think that's happened before. So, yay! Just going to move on. I don't have the time. Going to move on to the last thing tonight, which is a scenario on the Bakerloo line called Zone 1 in deference to the mayoral elections. We're now covering the London one, and obviously there's nothing more London than the London Underground. Makes sense, I think. I think it makes sense. Why it is broken, I don't know. Welcome to London Road Depot. This is a northbound service which will travel to and terminate at Queen's Park. Sounds good to me. Queen's Park. Yep. Traction control brake to off. And release. There we go. Okay, do you have... Oh, I'm already speeding. Nice one. So, London mayoral elections. What is going on with them? Well, British flag train. Hold on. Where are the lights? Tail light, right, no. Headlights are on indeed. Nice. Okay. So, the London mayoral election. What's going on with that? You have an incumbent Labour mayor. It's the only incumbent Labour mayor we're talking about. Well, I've talked about a few of them, but anyone we're actually covering in detail. His name is Sadiq Khan. Most people will be familiar with him. Sadiq Khan, incumbent. It means like the current. It means the one in place, in power. So, sorry, something smells really weird in here. Anyway, so Sadiq Khan, he's a mayor that he's got some interest. So, how do I say it? People, he's like Marmite, except nobody really loves him. You're either indifferent or you hate him. At least that's the feeling that I got. I quite like him for what it's worth. I think that universal free school meals is a game changer for primary school students. I think that the Hopper Fair is also very good, where you have where you can get on a bus, and if you get on another bus within an hour, you don't pay for the second bus. I think that's probably helped out quite a lot of commuters. And I think when you look at his views on trans rights, he's one of the only politicians that not only has a good record, but has stuck to that good record. It's very difficult to find. It's very difficult to find someone who's good on trans rights, let alone someone who's then stuck to it. Penny Mordaunt was a Tory that was always... Everyone said, oh, you know, she's got good views on trans rights, which were then abandoned the second she tried to fight the Tory leadership election. So, I admire that about Sadiq Khan. I look at the stuff that Anna, Councillor in Bexley, has been doing, and how a lot of that has come from mayoral funding rather than council funding. And I sit there and I go, Sadiq Khan's probably a good egg. I also look at Ulez. No, I'll come back to that. The thing is, well, I won't come back to it. I'll address it now, but I'm going to address it as a bad thing. People that don't like Sadiq Khan, their main gripe at the moment, is the ultra low emission zone, ULEZ, which, as I explained to Lizzie earlier, is a charge on polluting cars. It's a charge on cars that you have to be very old to be fair. My car, I think, was made in 2006, and it's compliant. I say my car, I mean my parents' car, but you know, and that's anyway. But that's compliant. So, so it's a big deal. I mean, people's main concerns are that the goalposts will move, and then their car will be compliant. You know, I suppose. There's also the problem of people with vans, and obviously switching is difficult. My main gripe with it is, so old cars get hit with ULEZ. Yeah, essentially old cars get hit with ULEZ. The thing is, I don't think there's a problem with the ULEZ as a policy. The main problem is that there is no good scrappage scheme. There's a scrappage scheme. You don't get a lot of money for it. You don't get a lot of money for it. You don't, you know, they're not very helpful, and you only get, there's only a certain number of reliefs. It's not released for everyone. Well, it did eventually get open to everyone, but it's still not good. Also, this route is so cool. You're literally inside the underground. I am. Never seen this before. Have you not? Have I not shown you this one? The London Underground? Yeah, so Sadiq Khan's main problem at the moment is ULEZ. One caveat with ULEZ is that ULEZ was a condition on funding for TfL, because TfL was going bankrupt. Now, obviously, it's not good for a transport system to be going bankrupt underneath the mayor. But my context for this is that when Boris Johnson was in charge, him and David Cameron conspired to reduce the funding that went to TfL from the government. They decided that TfL would be better off being made on a model of profit, of free marketeering, of basically what can you raise through ticket prices. That's what you're going to get. Not completely. There are still government subsidies, but if you look at the government subsidy in the London Underground compared to the New York subway, Hong Kong MTR, pretty much anything, it's a lot higher. It's a lot higher than what we get. Obviously, the main problem with this change to the system, other than the fact that you can't run a rail system like a business, because that is not going to end very well, and that's not what the point is, but other than that, the main problem was COVID, because obviously it's all well and good making the revenue based on the ticket sales, but when no one's allowed out, you don't make any money. So TfL had no money, needed bailing out, so the government put in all sorts of conditions, and there's all sorts of restrictions on it, that they had to get rid of certain types, certain travel cards, certain things, and one of those conditions was moving the ULEZ to outer London, which people are unhappy about, but the Tories are the ones who imposed that condition. But it's a convenient tool for them, because they can impose the conditions that Sadiq Khan can't really say no to, because otherwise TfL goes bankrupt, and then they can use it to campaign against him, all the bloody time, which is not helpful. Oh, I've overshot there. Let's see whether the doors open. Oh, the doors do open on the platform though. Nice, bruh. Wilding. Yeah. My take on it, though, is that whether Sadiq is pro it or not doesn't really matter. It's come in under him as mayor, and that's that. What I respect about it is the fact that he stuck to his guns. The fact is, it's probably not something he would have come up with on his own, but he does care about clean air. The stuff with the Belvedere incinerator is a bit, around our area, he does have a bit of a murky reputation on it, and Silvertown Tunnel as well. But he claims to care about clean air. He's come out swinging with ULEZ. He's saying, we're doing it, doesn't matter why or how, we're doing it. And he stuck to his guns in the face of quite a lot of public opposition, and I think you do need leaders who aren't just going to bend to public opinion. Of course you need ones that do listen, of course you do, but you also need ones that aren't just going to give up their convictions when it's convenient. So, you know, like Ulez or hate Ulez, Sadiq Khan has been very consistent on that. The other thing that gets levied at him is knife crime, which is a very interesting one. I certainly think the stabbing that happened in Hainault probably doesn't help his cause. But what I will say is that he, people claim knife crime has gone up under Sadiq Khan, and there certainly were years where that was true. But since he took office, if you look at overall rates across the 8 years he's been in power, it would seem that actually throughout the whole time it's actually gone down. And I need to turn these lights on. That's the first one. The second one is that the way the media talk about it, right, they'd have you think that London is just Stabville, right? There's been a narrative built up that London is unsafe. And even, you know, my friends, you know George, Lizzie knows George. George and Kira went to London, and when they came back, they said that, you know, they said to me, oh, you know, we were checking our backs and, you know, keeping in check with everything. And I went, but guys, London's actually I don't feel any less safe in London than I did 10 years ago. It's not Stabville. And actually, when you look at the worst region in the country for stabbings, it's actually not London, statistically. It's actually the West Midlands. But of course, no one is asking Andy Street why his region is the worst one for knife crime. Well, because first of all, that would be very inconvenient for the Conservatives at a time of an election. But even then, you know, throughout the whole time, you know, Sadiq Khan's been in power 8 years. Andy Street's been in power for 7 years, one less than Sadiq. No one ever asks him, and I think that's a bit convenient. I think there's a narrative behind that. But anyway, the thing is, the good parts about Sadiq Khan, the things that actually make me enthusiastic, the fact that 3 years ago, I mean, I wasn't old enough to vote 3 years ago for Sadiq Khan, but if I had been, I would have done, but I wasn't very enthusiastic about voting for him 3 years ago. But in those 3 years since, he's been very radical. I think he's realised, especially because in first preferences he only came 5% ahead of the Tories, which is a lot closer than it should have been. He's been quite radical, quite bold, and I appreciate that. But the thing is, if you're not very politically switched on, you don't see a lot of the good parts about Sadiq. And the thing is, I think Sadiq's main problem is how he talks. I think that when you look at Sadiq on a policy basis, he seems good, he seems amazing. The problem is when you listen to him in interviews, he feels very distant, very dismissive sometimes, very political. He's very much a politician. And so the bad part about that is it's not his record that's going to carry him over the line. He is going to win the election. He will win the election. Oh. Well, now this is cool. This is quite something. But anyway, it's not his record that's going to win him the election. It's not any enthusiasm on the electorate's part that are going to do that. What will carry him over the election line is his opponent. His opponent is a woman called Susan Hall. There are other opponents, but realistically, they're not going to win. His opponent is a woman called Susan Hall. And the Tories, the thing is, if the Tories ever took the London mayoralty seriously, I think they'd give Sadiq Khan a run for his money, because there isn't a lot of love for Sadiq Khan. I think if you had a moderate Tory, a Boris Johnson type Tory, not Boris Johnson now, but Boris Johnson when he was the mayor of London, that was a coup. Right, a Tory mayor in London, that was a coup, and he won re-election as well. And he did that by being a socially liberal Tory. He was a Tory, but he was like, yeah, I'm a Tory, but, you know, I love gay rights, I love the environment, I'm good, you know, socially, I've got good social views, I'm just economically conservative, you know. And if the Tories put up someone like that, there's someone in the London Assembly, actually, called Andrew Boff, who has been railing against the party on their stance on trans rights. And if they put him up, I think he'd give Sadiq Khan a real run for his money. I think he would. But in every election Sadiq Khan has faced a Tory, they've picked a very weak candidate. Now, obviously, the first time it didn't matter because the first time was another Tory that was they were both unknown, really. Nobody knew who Zach Goldsmith or Sadiq Khan were. So, you know, they weren't really running against Sadiq. They were running against, you know, random generic Labour. But Sean Bailey was a bad candidate 3 years ago. I think on policy, he was better than Sadiq Khan, but the problem is his policies were completely unworkable. He wanted to build 100,000 council homes for £100,000, and that's... You can't spend £1 on a home. You can't do that. He said some horrific things, like he'd said that homeless people should just save up £5,000 on a deposit. He had said that the working class were, I think he said they were a beastly kind that didn't adhere to rules or something like that. He was a bad candidate. But Susan Hall was an even worse candidate. She thinks that crime in the black community is just like an endemic thing. She thinks that, like, the black community are, like, I don't know, culturally ingrained to stab each other, which is completely wrong. She's a big fan of Enoch Powell. She supported Liz Truss. She's a big fan of Farage and Trump. You know, and she, you know, and my problem is, and Sadiq is right to point out, as he's done a good job of pointing out, is that everyone's quick to talk about black on black crime, but it's not really a black on black issue, because if you look at violent crime in Glasgow, that was all white people, right? And there was no white on white, you know, there's none of this narrative about white on white crime. No one said white people are more endemic to stab each other, right? No one said that. No one ever said that. No one ever made that point. So, yeah, and Susan Hall has a terrible record as well. I mean, when she ran Harrow Council, she fired the chief executive because, and I quote, "I understand why some leaders would need the advice of a chief executive, but I run a business, therefore I don't need a chief executive because I already know how to do it." The business she ran in question was a hair salon. And 9 months later, she was kicked out of office. So you can judge whether Susan Hall has a good record, but I think the majority of people think that Susan Hall is worse than Sadiq Khan. The difference between her and Sean Bailey is that Sean Bailey, yeah, he was problematic. He did have problematic views, probably not too dissimilar from Susan Hall's. But Sean Bailey's main problem was that he was incompetent. His main problem was that he just clearly didn't know how to run a city. And when you look at voting habits, people prefer people that can competently do things they don't like, rather than people who can incompetently do things that they might like. Because incompetence is worse than opposition, if that makes sense. But Susan Hall's problem is not that she can't run a city, although I think it's quite clear she can't run a city, but that's not her problem. Her problem is that she's an extremist. Or she's seen as an extremist, sorry, I should say. You know, you have to be careful. Be careful what you say, although a lot of Sadiq Khan's literature says that she's a hard right Tory. I don't know if... Sorry, a far right Tory. I don't know if I go as far as to say far right, but... Yeah, certainly hard right. Certainly that. You know. So anyway, point is, Sadiq Khan is going to walk that election, most likely. I mean, heck, you know, I voted for him. All my friends that I know have voted for him. You know, one of my friends hates the man, but he sent the group chat a picture today, and he said this is the easy part. It was voting Labour for his GLA candidates, and he said, and this is the hard part. And despite the fact that he'd talked so much about how he didn't like Khan and he wanted to vote him out, not that he ever talked about voting for Susan Hall, but he doesn't like Khan and wanted him out. But despite that, he sent me a picture of a ballot that voted for Sadiq Khan. And I think that tells you the strength of feeling there is against Susan Hall, because I think if that was someone like Andrew Boff, I genuinely think he would have gone the other way. If it was a moderate Tory, I think he might have taken the chance. But the strength of feeling against Susan Hall is so bad that even amongst people that don't like Sadiq Khan, there is still he's better than that nut job. Oh, you can send pictures of your ballot. I think it was a bit naughty of him too. I don't think you're meant to at a polling station. I don't think you're meant to take pictures at a polling station. Obviously, I have pictures of ballot, but that's because I did it at home. And because the law isn't about taking pictures of ballots. The law is about taking pictures of polling stations, as far as I'm aware. But look, I don't know. But that's the strength of feeling, and some people, especially Tories, are probably going to be sat there thinking, why did we pick Susan Hall? Because there's a theory going about that the reason they did it is because they could see that they were going to lose, so they'd rather have a poor candidate and then blame them for it than have a good candidate and then face up to the fact that it was the Tory brand that cost them. I don't know. I'm not a member of the Tory party, so I have no idea the reason they picked them. I mean, it was democratic, although it was somewhat of a coronation, really. But, you know, it is what it is. So, look, yeah, I don't know. Well, I am confident. I'm confident of this result being a Khan victory, though. The other two that we've talked about tonight, I've got no clue how they end. I've got no clue, you know, whether Street is still a mayor by the end of the weekend, whether Houchin is still a mayor. But I am quite confident that Sadiq Khan will still be a mayor by the end of the weekend. But yeah, oh, I've just got an email from Sadiq Khan that says, "I'm so proud of you, Jeremy." Speaking of Sadiq Khan, he follows me on Twitter, actually. So that's nice. I'm actually followed by quite a few. I'm not followed by any more mayors, but I am followed by a couple of MPs. I'm followed by the Shadow Health Secretary, which, I mean, it's a bit of a bittersweet thing because Sadiq Khan, just like me for real, I'm also proud of you. It's not real Sadiq Khan, it's a automated Labour Party email, probably sent out to all party members for going out on the doorstep. I probably, that's what it is. Let's find out. But I imagine it's a thank you for all the door knocking and the things, which is funny because I didn't do very much. I didn't do any. I did more for Sadiq Khan 3 years ago when I wasn't so enthusiastic than I did this year when I am enthusiastic. Thank you, Jeremy. I'm so proud of us. Polls just closed in what has been, at times, a tough campaign, and the energy and commitment of Labour supporters throughout has amazed me. Getting a third win in a row isn't easy. The only reason we can be at all hopeful is because of you. Turns to you chipped in what you could. There's a video. It's tricky for me to sum up my gratitude, so have this video. Okay. Okay. Come on. But they uploaded this too.
Officially closed, and I want to say a huge thank you. Thank you to Londoners for voting. And thank you to every single Labour volunteer and activist for your hard work today and across the campaign. Your energy has been incredible. You know, we spoke to thousands of Londoners on doorsteps and on the phones, sharing our vision of a fairer, safer, greener city. Without you, none of this would have been possible. Together, we sent out a message of fairness, of equality, and of hope. Whatever the results this weekend might
City
be,
Khan is watching this
so
stream and
proud
he
of
is
that.
so happy.
But for now, it's time to get some rest and wait for the votes to be counted.
I wonder what the Tory version is. Because the Tories know in their heart that they've lost. Probably. So it'd be interesting to see what their thank you video is like. But to do that, I'd have to be a member of the Tory party, and that's not something I want to do. Not something I'd be particularly keen on doing. £3. Sorry, I'm looking at eBay because I just won a thing for. Which one's the £3? Which one's the person selling for £3? I just won a bid on some Marvel Legends, but I'm looking at more, which I shouldn't, but I am. Which one is selling for £3? Sprite from Eternals is selling for £3. Okay, interesting. Marvel Legends bidding. Yes, obviously I bought the Deadpool one. I didn't buy that from eBay, but I bought this pack of Ghost from Ant-Man and Louis, which normally sells for 30 quid. This version, there's no box and there's no accessories, which did put me off a little bit, but I thought about it and I went, on the one hand, yeah, no box, no accessories, but on the other hand, I'm paying a tenner, well, plus £3.29, so I'm paying £13.29, which is, you know, basically it's a third value. I'm paying that, which means that if I pay 25 quid, or pay 30 quid, I'm paying £17 for some small bits of plastic. And I sat there and I went, even though it doesn't have the accessories, are those small bits of plastic worth 17 quid? I don't think so. Hey, thought you were a poor student. Mum, you're not meant to see this. I am a poor student. But poor students can still treat themselves, because they do good work. That's what they do. Plus, you know, I've been prudent. I've been doing Tesco's 3 for £6 deal to get like chips and meats so that I can have British tapas. Small bits of plastic are worth money. No, they are, but they're not worth an extra 17 quid. Dad, where has this mob just come from, bro? I've been streaming for like 2 hours now. 2.5 hours nearly. And you decided to come now. We've just been talking about mayoral elections. Did you guys both vote in those? Mum, you didn't answer my message. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Yes. Had to go vote first. Yeah, well, voting doesn't take 2 hours, Dad. At least I hope it didn't take 2 hours. I mean, something's gone horrifically wrong. But you both voted. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. What message? The message in the family group chat where I said, remember to go and vote, guys. And Pamela responded, and Dad responded, and Granny responded, and guess who didn't respond? You didn't respond. Because you were at work. But ooh, yeah, I keep overshooting these. Ah, yes, I work, so you buy plastic. Actually, I think you'll find the point was that I don't buy plastic. Because the plastic is not worth an extra 13 quid. I'm cooked. I'm getting cooked. I'm getting cooked. I don't like this. Anyway, your mum voted for that sock dem woman who's afraid of the woke mind virus. No, that's not true. No, you didn't. At least I sure hope you didn't. I did not. Okay, good. Okay, good. I won't pressure you to tell me. Well, I won't pressure you to tell me on a live stream. I will pressure you to tell me on a video call at some point. But I won't pressure you to tell me on a live stream who you voted for. They're gonna buy you the plastic for your birthday, but not the figure. Well, it'll be difficult to source just the accessories. Dad will go to any length to be the best parent. What is that length? Voting, voting for Sadiq Khan. What was I going to say? Yeah, it was interesting. I had a proxy vote, and when I went to the second polling station where the proxy lived, sabotage is a legit tactic. When I went to the proxy polling station, they said that they don't get many proxies, so they actually didn't know what to do. So they spent 5 minutes flicking through the paperwork. They were very nice. They were very apologetic. And I think they were probably happy with it because it gave them something to do. Something, something out of the ordinary. Something different. But, yeah, it was funny. Because I just turned up and I said, I'm a proxy. I don't know whose name to give you. Mine or hers. And, yeah. Took them 5 minutes, but, I got the vote in the end. Who are you proxying for? I proxied for someone that I'd met at a political meeting. I don't know them very well, that's why I was a bit confused, because if they were going to ask me the nature of our relationship, we don't really have one. They messaged me saying that we met at a meeting and I was the only person they were sure was going to vote the same way. So they asked if I would do it. But yeah, oh look at this, man, it's a shop. Maybe I should spend 25 quid on the suffragette line. I could spend 30 quid on the 5 circle line. I could spend 30 quid on LIRR commuter. Yeah. Were they just going to be out of town? I have no idea. They didn't tell me what they were doing or why they couldn't go. When I met them at the meeting, they were wearing a mask though, so I'm thinking it might have something to do with health and germs. When I was voting, they had to ring someone to confirm whether or not they could accept someone's postal vote with a torn envelope. Oh. How torn? How torn was the envelope? Very torn, or was it like a small rip? Not sure, really. It might have been mine. I think I had a small rip on my envelopes because I had a panic when I put it in, because it tells you to check that there's not a problem with the ballot numbers, to check that they match up, and I hadn't done that. The music is a weird backdrop to this convo. Yes, do you know what, I will. I finished with everything on the agenda, but I will go into. I will just walk around. Where should I walk around, guys? I'll walk around the East Coast Main Line. I'll walk around Peterborough on foot. Peterborough's a nice place to go for train spotting. Anyway, yeah, I didn't check the ballot numbers, and so I went to reopen the thing to check, and there was a tiny, really tiny tear. And I decided not to continue trying to open the envelope and just seal it. Why is Christopher Walken driving your train? What do you mean, why is Christopher Walken driving my train? I don't think he is, G. We can have a look. We'll see who's driving this train. Where's it going? Doncaster? No. I would assume it's going to Doncaster. Anyway, I'm off to bed. Only teasing about spending money. Glad for you to treat yourself. No, I know you are. Alright. Love you guys. Who's... Oh. It's not... Well, I can tell you this is not Christopher Walken. I hope. But yeah, anyways, they're off to bed. The stream agenda is done. So, the guy on your status screen looked just like him. Oh yeah, probably my character. Actually, I'll show you. We'll do this just before I end the stream. I will sit in the train, and you can tell me if this is who you're on about. Right, go on. Get in here. Where's this? Right, let me sit. Oh, I can't drive this service, so I can't show you. Any other service here? Is there any other service coming? No, it doesn't look like it. Alright, well, you'll just have to tune into the next one to find out if I look like Christopher Walken. Hijacking the train is not hijacking if I'm employed by the company. Criminal. That is what I am. Just joking, I'm not a criminal. Yeah. Right. Anyways. Yes. So thank you everyone for previewing the elections with me. I hope it was entertaining and informative, and that you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it. I like talking about elections, mayoral elections. And yes, so thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next stream.